Do not attempt to adjust your programming. You are now listening to B-Movies and Beyond.
There it is. She was so good for the intro, Peter.
Yes. Hi, baby girl.
She heard it. Now she's
Welcome in.
excited.
She's dancing over here.
Just on the floor dancing. We got baby Ellie over there. Just in. She's. This is her first episode, isn't it?
This is her first appearance. Here she is.
Oh, all kinds of new stuff. We're trying out new ways to record, seeing if we like it. We're gonna welcome in. This is B Movies and Beyond. You got Peter and Ryan, and special guest Peter. Introduce her.
We got Ellie.
So if you hear some baby crying or coos, or what else do babies make noises? Fart noises, burps.
Yep. She likes
It's
to
not. It's not me or Peter.
No, it's not us. But hopefully she behaves. It's not off to a good start, but we'll see.
She'll be
We'll
fine.
see. Oh, yeah.
We wanted to get a quick episode out of the way because over the weekend we had a friend's Christmas party a month late, and is there a timetable on Christmas parties?
I don't know. I told my dad, and he was like, "Huh? Christmas?" like it was just. I mean, we're like a month out. Come on, like you can't celebrate Christmas anymore. Some people still have their Christmas lights on. You know.
Instead of just no, we don't need to like label this what it is. I think we get a month, and we were well within the grace period, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
I think so. We made it in January. I feel like that's appropriate.
Let's just tell people it's January 25th.
Okay.
That's a month later.
Yes.
Let's just say we're giving gifts for Jesus.
That's right. It was a good time. Quite the palooza. Which did you know what a palooza is?
It's like where a bunch of women get together and have a concert, isn't it?
Well, it's like a drunken good time, like drunken party, which that's what we did. It says an exaggerated event on Wiktionary.
I like that. I like a palooza. Maybe we should just call it Christmas palooza.
Yeah. Well, an Urban Dictionary says the art throwing a very drunken extravagant party. I feel like we did that with a plethora of friends. We did that.
We did do that. We were trying to encompass a Christmas party / B Movies Beyond / podcast party, but we'll get to that. It'll be maybe a spring thing or something.
Well, the main, a big one to celebrate it, but we were still celebrating then. It was just smaller scale, but good experiment. I learned that I shouldn't drink as much when recording. You have to go listen to episode 305, Nicolas Cage Palooza, because true to Nicolas Cage, I got drunk, and by the end of the episode, very drunk.
Was that your plan, Peter?
No, dude, I had no intention of doing
caging
that.
Out.
Yeah, no intention. It just happened, and then I was editing a little. Yeah, I had to edit quite a bit, and re-listening to the very end, and I was like, "Holy crap! I don't remember most of this."
Oh, it was funny. The room was split. It was hilarious because like half the room was like, "Hey, they didn't agree with your choice." And I don't want to spoil the episode, but the other side was like, no, it makes sense. And then me just doing this podcast with Peter forever, I'm like, Hey, this is Peter's opinion. This is his podcast. He can pick whoever he wants for his favorite villain, and it makes sense.
That's right. That is like they're upset because they liked the movie where I did not, and I I despise certain people. Maybe despise is too strong, but that was the question. Who do you despise? What character do you despise the most? And that was one. I thought it was just kind of dumb. So yeah, you gotta check out that episode 305, the last one, and if anything, go to like the last like 20 minutes and have a good laugh. I was rolling, man. I was laughing out loud so much, just recounting what the things that were going on.
Oh my gosh, it just got more wild towards the end of the night. It was we got news today. Dude, how are you recording, by the way? Like, how do you have a camera? Are you just holding your baby and your laptop at the same time?
Yeah, when I'm walking around, yeah.
Oh, okay.
So
In additional news, James Gunn did a brief announcement of the future of the DCU. We don't talk a lot about DC. Ellie's not too happy about it.
no, she's not. And what do you mean we don't talk a lot about DCU? The last like month we've been talking about this because of this announcement. This is actually a pretty big announcement. I think you're calling it small. But
Well,
this
I said small on the scale of like what Marvel has done for their type of announcements.
yeah, I guess because they do the big old what
Party.
or
Press
D23,
conference.
right? And Marvel or
D23
Comic-Con.
Palooza.
Yeah, they have some paloozas where this is just James Gunn saying in front of a camera and telling us what's to come, which I almost felt like this whole announcement was like, oh shit, it's the end of January. We said we're going to announce some stuff. Like, oh, what should we do? Oh, James will just tell us.
Dude, okay. I feel the same way. I feel like Warner Brothers and Discovery, they've come under a lot of scrutiny because they're just canceling projects and they're just cutting budgets. And their way of announcing it is like, James has something, right? All right, yeah. Just start recording and just tell us the stories that you love so people could get hyped up about them, okay?
Yeah, and now we know why they cut everything, and it sounds like the stuff that's coming out this year, which was already kind of done and before James and Peter stepped in. What Shazam's coming out? Shazam 2. What's the other one? Flash, which he's kind of
Shazam 2.
yeah. Which my understanding is that like he just fits into the universe. However, because he's kind of standalone already, right? So they got plans for him. And then the Flash is coming, which they said, it's going to reset the whole franchise, I guess, which we kind of expected, right? So it makes sense that, all right, they're still able to release that. And then Aquaman 2 is supposed to come out later on this year. And that's the one thing that I'm still just like, I don't know how that's going to work, but somehow it fits in their scheme. Which I don't know. To me, I feel like they should just scrap it. But whatever, too far.
I agree with you. The way that James Gunn announced it was just like, okay, well, here's these two movies, they're done. The Flash, spoiler alert, is going to reboot everything, so get ready for it. And then these other two, we just got to kind of deal with it. And they were like, what? Okay. And you're right. Like Flash, or I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank over here. Aquaman just doesn't seem to fit still to me,
Yeah, because he is part of the Justice League. They've already, other announcements, I mean, go into like there's gonna be a new Superman, a new Batman. Like, I just don't understand how Aquaman fits in this universe still. And that's the one that I think, and that's the latest one. It's like it really, I don't understand it. It almost like maybe that's just gonna be some parallel type of thing. But they that was the other thing James mentioned was how the Batman, that's still its own thing. The Joker's still its own thing. They're gonna have this DC Elseworld. Is that what he called it?
Elseworld. Yeah. Okay. Here we go. Peter, here's a list right here. Oops, not the whole thing. Okay, so you see this on this side on our screen. What we have is the DC universe. We have Shazam, we have the Flash, then you have the Explosion, and then we have Blue Beetle. Here's this, and then that's where you're describing the universe reset, and then the main movies and the main. It's not just movies; it's the chapter 1, which is not complete. This is where, like, I agree with you. It feels like this was very last minute for James Gunn. Chapter 1, Gods and Monsters, because he says here's some of the projects we're working on, but it's not the full scope of the story. Where Marvel has all this stuff lined out, and then what we were explaining.
I mean, I Marvel is doing the same thing. I don't know what you're talking about. They just, what did Marvel just do? They're in their Kang Dynasty saga, right? Like they have
Right.
it's the same exact thing. They're, instead of calling phases, DC's calling it chapters. That's all. And like again, those things that are already announced for this year, they're almost just like a prequel, like this is the stuff we're about to get into with DC Chapter 1, Gods and Monsters. That's the true, stuff that James and Peter's doing. Like everything else before that is just, I don't even, again, it's just they're trying to capitalize on some stuff that's already completed to get some more money. And I feel like if they don't go over well, it doesn't matter because this next installment, that's the true thing that comes out like starting. Oh man, when did you say Superman Legacy comes out?
Superman Legacy
2025
is 2025. That's the only one that has like a direct. It says July 11th, 2025. Nothing else has a date on it. In the chapter 1, Gods and Monsters. But the Elseworlds, they have dates. So there's the Joker part 2, and then they have the Batman part 2. And then they're still keeping Superman and Lois and Teen Titans. So this is where it gets muddy because in the beginning of the press conference, he mentioned he wants all the characters and the actors to be able to blend simultaneously between live action, he didn't say comic books, but live action, animated, and video games. What do you think about that? Because I already see a problem with that. That he's making his own Superman movie, but there's the CW Superman, and then there's the Matt Reeves Batman, but he's making his own Batman.
Yeah, I see. Again, you guys keep everything separate. There's a DCU, that's all him. DC Elseworld, where that's everything else, which it's nothing different. The only thing that's going to be interesting is the fact that he described how, oh yeah, like we're going to have characters go from live action to animation played by the same person, which Marvel's kind of done that, but with the What If,
right?
To a certain extent,
or like the video games. I mean, Spider-Man's not played by Tom Holland in Spider-Man.
No, and that's the other part too. Like, if they have tie-in video games, like that's a massive undertaking because those video games take forever to make, and I don't think it warrants a tie-in to any type of overall story.
With Peter, with that being said, he's already getting a lot of kickback from that. creators with Naughty Dog were like, "What are you talking about, dude? You want us to sit there and have Robert Pattinson do 600 hours worth of booth time doing voice recording so we can get maybe 20 minutes of it? Like, how are you
Yeah.
going to pay an actor that kind of money to be in a video game? I thought Warner Brothers was trying to save money.
Yeah, but that's again, I'm going back to like I think that's his hope, that's his dream. I see it more like okay, yeah, animation to live action is gonna be what really happens, you know?
I like that. I do like that because that is where the DC universe is very strong is their animated series and movies. And he did mention his movies. He like his main list, chapter one, is a blend of live action and cartoon. And right away when I see these logos, I'm looking at Superman. I was like, well, that looks like kind of like a cartoon, but it's live action. And the Batman, oh dude, the Batman, I think okay, which ones are your favorite that are up and coming?
I mean, hang on, I gotta get my list. I can't see your screen. um, that he announced. I mean, you know what? I'll be honest. Okay, my favorite Swamp Thing's by far my favorite thing.
Okay.
Which
We're on the same page
I
there.
think this is what we have to. I think we just got to go through the list here, like because there's things that I think is kind of cool, and then also like I could care less. But like Superman Legacy, that was the first thing he talks about. Sure, we all knew they were gonna do a new Superman. I think that's his cornerstone, which already like, I mean, just reading things that he says, like, and we talked about this before, is like you got to understand Superman and what he's wrote down. Like, I feel like he understands who Superman is. So I'm excited for that. I don't necessarily know if he's the right guy to direct it because his style, but I I think he understands Superman. So that's all I'll say about that. But its legacy, it's a whole new, I think, younger Superman dealing with,
being Superman and Clark Kent.
well, yeah, juggling his past life, his life on Earth, and everything. Like that's what it is. Like it's his struggles with that, like internal struggles. So, um,
James Gunn is pretty good about that dynamic. Like if you rewatch Guardians of the Galaxy, Star-Lord is just you said it right there. He's dealing with his struggles of his past, not having his parents, and understanding whose parents are, and that plays out between so far two movies. And the third one, I think James Gunn will do a good job with Superman. To be honest with you, I finally feel like the leader of what this is taking control of their main character.
yeah, again, I think he gets it. I think he'll write a great script and everything. I just don't know if he's the person to direct it because of his style. Like everything that I've seen him do, it's very stylized and it's a little bit. I feel like it doesn't have the right tone for what a Superman movie should be. Is my thought on it, but we'll see. That's not announced yet on who's actually directing. He's just writing it. So the next one that he brings up a couple different animated shows. This Creature Commandos, which again, that's up his alley and makes sense for this Creature Commandos animated TV show. It's like looks like Guardians of the Galaxy, Suicide Squad, like with creatures. Like that's what he likes. So it makes sense. This is like one of the first things coming out.
Ellie's excited.
Yeah. I think that's when he did Superman. Maybe let's just talk about all the TV shows first. How about that?
Do you have them in a TV show kind of order?
Well, I have the TV. They're labeled that way.
Creature Commando.
Yeah. Waller, which care less. I don't care about Waller.
Yeah, I don't like her story. I like the characters around her, like Suicide Squad and I mean, what else?
Well, And didn't he say that she's gonna kind of join like the people from Peacemaker? So
Yes.
okay, now you added an element against something from him that's gonna make it entertaining. But for the most part, I don't really care. The next one's Lanterns, another TV show, which this is one like I heard they were talking about this and then it got scrapped, but apparently it's not scrapped. They're maybe just revising it a little bit, but they're making a Green Lantern show, which
And this is both Hal Jordan and other Green Lantern. Forgot his name.
I don't know. Don't worry.
I love to catch up on my Green Lantern. See, this might. I'll get to it at the end, but Green Lantern is Hal Jordan, which is the one I've always known, and that's the one who was played by Ryan Reynolds. That's the one who is the most, well known, I guess, out of all of them. And what's the other guy's name? It's like Hal Jordan. Hi. Well, keep on going. I'll come up with his name. The next one, The Authority, right?
That's a TV or no movie. That's a movie. Which, when you're talking about being excited, I think that's right up James Gunn's alley because again, it's another suicide type group that takes on a whole bunch of. It's a little bit darker in tone, which again, that's what he's good at. So makes sense that it's on here. So that one I'm actually pretty excited about.
And it's a lot of characters from not Wildcats, but oh my gosh, DC bought them and they were old Image characters. I think it was Wildcats.
I don't know what you're talking about.
They're Wildstorm characters. So Wildstorm was purchased. It was an Image universe where it was like, do you remember Wildcats? And it was like this Jim Lee team up and whatnot.
Yeah, I remember Wildcats.
Yeah, so Wildstorm is like a playoff of that, and DC bought that. So you're bringing Wildstorm characters into it. What I do like is it's kind of like it seems like it's their X-Men.
Yeah, it does kind of seem like that, like a dark version. So, yeah, and again, it makes sense that he's doing that. The other one is we already mentioned Swamp Thing, which super excited, and that's going to be more horror type film, which again I think is going to be great. Except for I never finished the previous Swamp Thing series, which I liked it, but the old movies, man, they just hold a special place in my heart, and this is not going to be that.
I was thinking, will it be a horror movie, or do you think he'll?
That's what he said.
Do you think he'll be able to bring a little bit of a toxic Avenger into this?
I don't know, like all the Swamp Thing, like when he's in the animated movies, like he's a very stoic and very powerful creature.
They gotta bring Toxie in there somehow.
Isn't that? I thought Toxic was Marvel.
Oh, it is Marvel, isn't it?
Yeah.
So you mean? Oh, I was just saying because of the trauma connection with James Gunn.
Yeah, I don't think that's gonna happen. But again, that's just one. Like, if you're making it a horror movie, like something's perfect. And again, all these kind of, besides the Superman movie, like all of them seem a little bit darker in tone. The other one is the Brave and the Bold. So that's gonna be Batman and Robin with his son, which that's another weird one where you're introducing Robin like instantly. Interesting.
Not
idea.
Even just Robin, but it's Batman's son.
Yeah, like the last Robin.
You're instantly bringing in Damian Wayne.
Yeah, and you're gonna get a new Bruce Wayne with new Batman. Like, again, like that's why I'm so confused on how does Aquaman fit in this.
Yeah, hopefully the Flash can tell us a lot of what's going on.
Yeah, and then Well, and then the last thing is the Supergirl movie, which this is the part where I'm just like, why? Why already instantly to Supergirl? You know, you're doing Superman and then Supergirl all in the same chapter. I mean, like, I don't need that.
It is a little much. You know, the big and Peter, if you think about this, a lot of this is going to be 2024, 2025, 26.
Well, this is
Um,
for the next what 8 to 10 years, right? Is what he
yeah.
said.
So that's a long period of time for DC to get us excited about these characters in these movies when you know the people, the normies, they're mostly excited about Superman, Batman, Justice League, Aquaman, Wonder Woman, stuff like the mainstay characters, the one you see all the time. We're not going to see a Wonder Woman, or it doesn't seem like we're going to see a Wonder Woman or a Justice League kind of thing. So, um,
Yeah, which I think is wise. Again, you're seeing it. He's taking his time with it. Besides of these inner, bringing in these other ensemble teams like the authorities and the creature commandos. Like that's the part that's like weird. Where that wasn't something that Marvel did until much later.
right, right.
So I don't. It just seems like he's a big fan of that, and I mean he has had a lot of success with that too. So
The interesting thing is, I'm looking at this graphic and immediately just not knowing, not listening to his recording about it. I thought a lot of these were just TV shows. But to find out the Authority is a film, Swamp Thing is a film, Supergirl is a film, and even Batman the Brave and the Bold, I that's a cartoon, isn't it?
well,
But
it's all based off of comic books.
it's a comic book, but like the way it's stylized, it looks like a cartoon. It looks like he's revamping that cartoon all over again.
Yeah.
But
Well, the Brave and the Bold. I don't even think Robin was in that, to be honest. But that was just a title they wanted to use for a Batman series. Anyways, those are all the movies. I guess we did all the movies first. Back to the TV shows. We did Creature Commandos, Waller, Lanterns.
Jonathan
Boost-
Stewart was the other Green Lantern.
Yeah.
So it's going to follow Hal Jordan and Jonathan Stewart.
Okay. Yeah. Again, that's just one I'm not
I love that.
interested in.
Like, okay. All right. Paradise Lost.
Yeah. This is one that I am excited about. I don't know what Paradise Lost is. Oh, no. You know what Paradise Lost is? Here's your Wonder Woman.
That's right. This is our Wonder Woman. There you go.
This is them. And in the way they described it, which again, I feel like this is weird, but you said like it's gonna be like Game of Thrones. I'm like, really? like is this just because like you're on HBO Max and like, hey, we need a new Game of Thrones show, we can't have enough of that. So again, that's another one where like I don't really care, but the last one we haven't talked about is Booster Gold, which I actually think is a great thing. It's gonna fall in line perfectly with how Peacemaker is, because you know the story of Booster Gold.
No, but I'm looking up the character and he looks very James Gunn.
Yeah, but so he is like a guy from the future where he I guess from the future he's a nobody, and so he goes to the past to be a somebody. Like that's the whole gist of it, which again falls in line with what James Gunn likes, right?
Yeah.
So that's one that I think fits nicely in this, where I was like, all right, I am excited about that. That's gonna be like perfect with Peacemaker and everything,
That's one thing I didn't see was a Peacemaker sequel. So maybe we're just gonna get hints of Peacemaker and Waller and Booster Gold. What do you think?
Yeah, I think you're probably right.
So
he's definitely. I mean, he mentioned it. He's Peacemaker's in with Waller, so maybe it's a combination there.
it's interesting that Waller is such a prominent character in the DC universe. I never knew it.
She controls a lot. She's, I was just watching Black Panther Wakanda Forever, and what's her face? That chick, that director, she made her, the movie, her film debut in the MCU. You know what I'm talking about? Elaine?
In Black Panther?
Yeah, Elaine. What's her name in that?
Elaine from Seinfeld. Julia Louis-Dreyfus.
Yeah, but who does she play? She's like the director and
Something Valentina.
Yeah, like she's kind of like a Waller for the MCU.
That's a good point. I was gonna say more of like a Nick Fury, but you bringing her up, she is more like a, what's her name? Valentina Allegra Diafonte. So we have, okay, I get it. Well, Peter, I think we covered everything that we really wanted to. I thought it was going to be like a D23 thing. Well, for
all
DC,
this announcement.
Yeah.
It was really kind of big news, but lackluster announcements on how they did it. So I don't know. I was kind of expecting more, but whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I'm there with you. It's early. I mean, they kind of announced the change back in November, gave them a couple months during the holidays to figure shit out, and they're like, all right, go.
Yeah.
So, well, good on them. All right, Peter. We said it's gonna be a short episode. We're still on par for it being a short episode, but we do want to get what we do best with B movies and beyond. So we're gonna go ahead and move right along.
Reviews.
Peter, you go first.
Well, just keep on bumping Ellie with my headphones. I'm not used to having things on my head when I'm holding her. I feel really bad. Well, I already mentioned Black Panther Wakanda Forever. There's only a half review since I'm only halfway through because it was just released today as of this recording, February 1st on the Disney Plus, and that's what I've been waiting for. And I'm excited. I'm really excited, and I'm halfway through, and I'm still excited. I like what they've done. The beginning was kind of interesting on how they handled Chadwick's passing. But also it was warranted, right? They needed to do it. And I also liked how they almost played into like, real life, right? They made it say like, his illness got him, there was nothing we could have done. Like it got him, and now we gotta move on and adapt. And I love the stories so far with how they're doing it. I think you mentioned how they brought in Ironheart, which I think is also, they're doing a great job with her, and Namor is awesome, and learning more about those characters. Like, this is such a character driven film, and I think so far, like, they're nailing it. I think this is Ryan Coogler.
Coogler,
yeah, he's doing just a great job with it. Like, and so far, like, I'm liking it so much more than the first one. So,
dude, he had a very tall task, and it was how to handle the real life death of your main actor of your series, Black Panther. And I agree with you, man. He did. I think he handled it pretty damn well. Got it. Opening scene. It was very driven. It was a somber moment, and then the rest of the movie was like a celebration, a real life celebration of Chadwick Chadwick Boseman and the Black Panther, and how to. It was kind of like teaching us how to move on and understand that it's going to be okay.
Mm-hmm.
I got that, and I thought that was pretty. I thought that was a pretty special way for a send off for him. And how far are you in this?
Halfway.
All right, we'll leave it there.
Yeah,
Maybe next
I
episode, I want you
just
to next
yeah, I'll
episode. I
finish it
give you
up. I'll
permission
finish it up.
to do a little spoiler. Okay.
But already, I mean, like halfway through, like I can already tell, like this is one of the better ones that it came out of this. Whatever you got, phase 4 now.
Yeah.
Phase 4 that has come out, like some films released for this one. Like it's this one and probably Shang-Chi that are the best, and I'll even put Black Widow on there too. Everything else was pretty lackluster. Like I'm not gonna say awful, but just not up to par. But I feel like this one is up there. It is actually good sequel with everything they had to do and had to push through. It's pretty impressive. And everyone's getting their time to shine, right? Like
Yes.
that is something where it's so easy to fail at that because there's so many characters and they are nailing it. Like the right hand gal. I always forget her name because these names are so hard for me to do. But the one with the spear, like her story arc is it's fantastic. The Queen story arc, Sirius story arc, Ironheart, like all of them are just they got this storytelling down in this one. That's my biggest thing for this movie that I've noticed so far that I'm just impressed by. And
Are you
they're
talking about?
explaining, huh?
No, go ahead.
Well, and Namor and where all these fish people, I don't know what they're called really. How they came to be and everything and how they're connected to Wakanda. Like this is a lot of backsplaining they have to do and feeling it, right? Like I cannot I'm so impressed. Like it's like I'm not upset with it. I'm not bored or anything. I'm just like, wow, there's so much thrown in this, but it's done in such a good way. So I just cannot say enough about that aspect of it. And hopefully the second half is as good as the first half.
Peter, just to show you, just real quick, what we have here is um, Nikita is no, that's not the right hand of Wakanda Forever you're talking about. Nikita, she plays a very good role in this movie. Who are we thinking about, Peter? Was she? Oh my gosh, she was in The Walking Dead, and I always forget it.
It's okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
Okoye.
Okay. It's that
Yeah,
one. Yeah. She is, yeah, her story arc and like I just got to the probably the height of her story arc kind of in the middle, which is just pretty powerful there.
oh,
So
and playing
yeah,
with buttons, we got all kinds of stuff to play.
it's very cool, very good different screens and sharing screens. Oh man, new toy for Ryan to play with.
Oh, don't get me with more toys, jeez.
If you want to go see our YouTube page and see what Ryan's doing on the screen, and also I finally got my my baby to sleep.
Oh, is it time to almost end the episode?
That's what that is. So
Hey, I like
we're
that.
putting people to sleep, Ryan.
The good kind, though, right?
Yeah. Which I guess I've learned that either we need to do as she's sleeping, or record when she's actually awake, because that's why she was so fussy. She was tired.
She's like, I want to be on the podcast, Dad. She
Yeah.
saw everybody on the podcast on Saturday and was like, oh, well, I can do that.
Oh yeah. I can be on there and fuss and cry like my daddy.
Exactly. You saw me switching through our. I spoiled it, but I watched the Megan movie.
I watched this too.
We both watched this. Okay, so it was released. Dude, this is one of those movies I really appreciate it being in the movie theater, so you have an opportunity to go see it, but you don't have to wait like 3 months for it to come out for you to watch it at home. It
Mhm.
came out, at the end of the month. It was theatrical release, early January, ended January. It's on video on demand. But Megan, yeah, it's oh Megan, what'd you think, Peter?
I liked it.
Did
I
you
liked
like
it.
it?
Yeah, I did, and it's already greenlit for a sequel, which I think was warranted. My concern is, it's always tough doing a sequel. Like, can you hold up to the same expectations, right? So
I okay. I love the main actress in Megan. Um, she was in Up or no Us. Allison Williams. She was really creepy in. Did I say Up like the Pixar movie?
I think you said Up, and then you changed it to Us.
I like her in Up as well. It was a very riveting movie.
Hmm.
But
Sad.
uh, this she played a very good aunt who was completely disconnected from children. She was like that cool aunt that was like, "Yeah, I'll just be cool and just kind of step aside." And the way the story plays out, you really see her become a very motherly person. And I mean, dude, she makes children's toys for a living, and that company just didn't get the concept of like how to connect with kids until she makes Megan, and Megan is too smart for everybody's good. um,
Yes.
I did see flashes of Chucky in this though. Like
Oh yeah.
Chucky was just straight up here's this awesome doll that kids everybody's gonna love, and then it was just more of a PG Chucky. So I didn't realize this movie was PG-13.
Same here. And I think that was, I don't want to say that was. I wish that it was more gory. That's what I wish. You
I
know,
agree.
like I think when you go into this movie straight from the trailer, like I mean, it's AI, it's robots, like interacting with kids, like what's gonna happen. You know what you're in store for, which I think that's the nice part. I think the director understood that. Same thing with the writer, and they just told a good story. You're like, we don't need to go dive too deep into this. Everyone understands what's going on, right?
Ex- it knew what it was, and I
Mhm.
mean, you can even like you just said, you could tell that they were like, yeah, we're making like this generation Z's, or what's this generation now? Is it Z?
Are we on Z?
I think we're on Z.
I think
What are they
so.
gonna do after that? Go back?
Double A. I
Go
don't
play
know.
Generation Z's Chucky, because Generation X was basically child's play.
Mhm.
And so Generation Z gets their Megan. And um I do like that this movie was would you say it was like 90% practical effects?
Yeah. Yeah, I do say so. Yeah.
There were some times where you could tell it was an actress moving around as Megan with like a synthetic doll face on her.
Which is the way to do it, because even though like it kind of like you can tell, but it makes it that much more creepy.
It made it creepy. And the way
Like,
she would move and dance, whoever this
mhm.
actress was, she was really good at it. So,
Yeah.
uh, I would recommend it. I had a hard time at first, but I watched the whole movie, and that's if I don't like a movie, I don't finish it. But I did finish it, and I was like, okay, I get it, and I enjoy it, and I see why they greenlit a sequel. So,
Yeah, and I think I know what you're talking about, is that it does kind of take a bit to get into it, right? Like, it's not as fast paced, and the scares don't come as fast as I thought they would have. But that's when it goes down to like the storytelling. I thought the storytelling was really well, and I was never bored, and I found myself actually stopping the movie if I couldn't pay attention because
same
of,
here.
yeah, which, and again, it goes back to like the characters, like just the story of the kid, and then the aunt who was not prepared for this but makes children's toys. Like, it's kind of interesting, a weird dynamic. And watching that unfold makes it that much more interesting. And then how the aunt kind of, develops something that maybe is, too controlling, or takes too much of the part that a parent should be doing, which that was an interesting
Right,
little
dude.
like side message there about like, how far does a toy go, and how, before it becomes more than a toy and it's being the parent or something, like
I didn't know how to say that without spoiling it, and you did it perfect. That's exactly my thought. I was like, how do you portray this message? Okay, it's you need to go watch Megan. I mean, if it's a horror movie, it's kind of meant for teenagers. It's kind of meant for kids. It's kind of meant for all
wide
ages.
wide audience. Like that's why it works being PG-13. As being older, I wish it was more violent, but you're captivated. So
I like it. Good words, Peter. Your little girl is out, so she's enjoying this podcast. I think it's time for us to wrap this one up. What do you say?
I agree. That means I can go back and freely watch Black Panther Wakanda Forever.
You go do that, Peter. Thanks everyone for joining us. Thanks for joining us. That was a good episode. Talk DC Universe. Talk some. Hopefully some good stuff comes out. So Peter, thanks for the Nick Cage of Palooza, and I'll see you next week.
Until then, pew pew out.
Pew pew out.